Good morning, children. In the last video session, we discussed about the growth promoters hormone. The growth promoters hormone, three types: axin, gibberellin, and cytokinin. Only remaining two hormones that are coming under the growth inhibitor hormones. The first one is called as abscisic acid. It is called as a growth inhibitor. Growth inhibitor means it controlled the growth of the plant, that is prevent the growth of the plant, that is called as a growth inhibitor. It is also called as a stress hormones because at the time of the year summer season there is a lot of the evaporation of water will be occurs. At the time the plant not able to survive, at this it is tolerate that situations, that is called as a stress hormones. It is found in the chloroplast. And physiological effects. What are the physiological effects and what are the uses of the abscisic acid? Means first it is a abscission. What is called as a abscission means nothing but a separation of the plant point, that is called as a abscission. It may be stem, leaf, flower, fruits. These are all coming under the abscission. Next one is called as it causes a stomatal closure. You know that in the daytime the stomata will be open. Through the stomata only evaporation of the water, the large amount will be occurs. So it make the stomatal closer. So it prevent or save the water for the plant. And third one is called as promote the senescence. Senescence means nothing. Abscission means separation of plant part. Senescence means loss of chlorophyll pigment. A chlorophyll pigment means a green pigment. If it is lost, it means it becomes the senescence. That is called as a senescence. And fourth one, it induces the bud dormancy. It remains the bud state, it not moves to the next stage. That is called as a bud dormancy. It is also a powerful inhibitor of the lateral buds. The cytokinin is the promoter of the lateral bud. It is the inhibitor of the lateral bud. In this point, according to this point, it is opposite to the cytokinin. Next one is called as a ethylene. It is called as a gaseous hormone. The maximum ethylene is synthesized during the ripening. We know that ripening at the time of the food formation, that is called as a ripening. Okay. And what are the physiological effects means the ripening of the food will be occurs and inhibits the elongation of the stem. Stem and roots in dicot plants, especially in the dicot plants. Axin promote the elongation. Axin and gibberellin is the promote the elongation of the stem as well as the internode. This one inhibit the elongation and hasten the senescence. Hasten means not allows the falling of the loss of the chlorophyll, and it stimulates the formation of the abscission zones. Formation of the abscission. Before abscission process occurs, it will be ready to form the abscission. So only it make the abscission and break the dormancy. It is also involved in the break the dormancy means it allow the seed to germinate. That is called as a break the dormancy. These are the physiological effects of ethylene. So up to that, the plant hormone totally over. So the growth promoters three hormones, growth inhibitors two hormones, each one having their five physiological effects, totally 25 physiological effects. So all the things you want to keep in your mind. So only in the paper, take one paper, draw the five columns for each one, as in cytokine, gibberellin, and ethylene, abscisic acid, and write the physiological effects in the darkened letters alone. Be able to know that. The next, you we move to the next part of the lesson, that is called as a human endocrine glands. How the hormones, plant hormones, is essential for the human beings. Both the exocrine and endocrine glands also very important for the human being. It only the coordinate their all the functions. It is called as a chemical coordinations or chemical integrations. The hormones are very minute quantities, but they their functions are only a lot of the functions. There is a lot of the functions will be occurs, so it is also referred to as a target organ. They act on a specific organ that is called as a target organ. For example, for insulin and glucagon, which is the target organ means kidney. For thyroid gland, that is a thyroid region. For testes and ovary is the for the gland of the male and female testosterone and progesterone. These are all the hormones are present in the testes and ovary. These are called as a target organ. The specific site that is called as a target organ. We know that before that different between the exocrine and endocrine. Exocrine means having the ear has separate organs are that having. Endocrine means there is no that. For exocrine example, saliva. Saliva having the mouth. Inside the mouth only the saliva is secreted. So that is the differences, major differences between the exocrine and endocrine. So the study of the ear, endocrine, is called as a endocrinology. And who is the father of the endocrinology means Thomas Addison. He is known as the father of the endocrinology. And the first hormone, unlike the word it is saying, give in the ear. Do you know? Secretin is the first hormone is discovered by the two scientists W.M. Bayliss and E.H. Starling. W.M. Bayliss and E.H. Starling, both scientists only discovered the first hormone that is called as a secretin. Okay, what are the endocrine glands present in the human body? By the picture itself, able to know that that is called as a pituitary gland. Pituitary gland and thyroid gland inside the four lobes are present. That is called as a parathyroid. This one is called as a thymus glands, and this one is called as a adrenal glands. The above the kidney that is called as a, it is classified in two types: adrenal cortex and adrenal medulla. So adrenal glands are present on the above the kidney, and in between that pancreas is present. It is the islets of Langerhans. It is called as a dual glands, and both exocrine and endocrines are present. And this one is called gonads. Gonads means ovary in female and testes in male. These are the endocrine glands are present in the human body. Just we are going to discuss about the what are the functions of the endocrine glands. What will happen if it is secreted in the air large amount? What will happen if it is secreted in the air minute amount or small amount? What are the problems are faced by the human beings? Like that only we are going to discuss today. Then among the air, the first you are going to discuss about the pituitary glands. This one is called as adenohyphosis. Pituitary is classified into two part. One is called as adenohyphosis and another one is called as neurohyphosis. Neurohyphosis only two hormones: vasopressin and oxytocin. Vasopressin and oxytocin. But adenohyphosis, a lot of the hormones. Among that, only five hormones are for you in your book. And pituitary gland is called as a master gland. Pituitary gland is called as a master gland. Why it is called as a master glands means it controls all functions of the other gland. So it is called as a master gland. Okay, it is a growth hormone, thyroid stimulating hormone, and adenocorticotropic hormone, and gonadotrophic hormone, and prolactin. Neurohyphosis, vasopressin, and oxytocin. These are the hormones present in the adenohyphosis as well as the neurohyphosis. First, we are going to discuss about the adenohyphosis. The first hormone is called as a growth hormones. In the name itself, we are able to understand that how the growth hormones are important for the development and enlargement of all the tissues, muscles, and bones. These are all responsible for the growth hormone. Hormones is in the proper amount, appropriate amount means growth also in the normal level. That is called as a growth hormone. It is also called as a GH. GH means growth hormone. And what are the problems if it is secreted in the air? Not secreted in the proper amount means what are the diseases? Dwarfism, gigantism, and another one is called as a acromegaly. Dwarfism and gigantism, these occur only for the children. It affect only the children. First, you take about the dwarfism. Dwarfism means what? It is a decreased secretion of their growth hormones, decreased secretion of their growth hormones, and it delayed their bone formation and mental disability. Mental மூளை வளர்ச்சி குன்றிய குழந்தைகள் is called as a dwarfism. The next one is called as a gigantism. It is increased amount of their growth hormones. Normally, the height of the children will be vary from their other children. That is called as a gigantism. Overgrowth. Simply, it is called as a overgrowth. Acromegaly means it is also for the adults. Adult excess secretion occur in the adult leads to the enlargement of the head, face, hand, and feet. These are the examples for the acromegaly. Next one is called as a TSH. The TSH means nothing but it is called as a thyroid stimulating hormone. It is called as a what? Thyroid stimulating hormone. It stimulates the thyroid glands. Stimulate the thyroid glands and coordinates its activities. That is the functions of the TSH. Next one is called as ACTH. ACTH means adrenocorticotropic hormone. Adrenocorticotropic hormone, that is called as ACTH, mainly concentrated on the adrenal cortex. Mainly stimulate their adrenal cortex and make their functions. Next one is called as a gonadotrophic hormone. Two types. One is called as a FSH and LH. FSH means follicle stimulating hormones. FSH means follicle stimulating hormones. It is mainly for the germinal epithelium is of the testis for the formation of the sperms. In the germinal epithelium, the sperms are formed. In the female, the growth of the ovarian follicles will be occurs. The formation of the sperms as well as the growth of the ovarian follicles responsible for the follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormones. The luteinizing hormones means it is a development of the luteinizing hormones means it is a development of their corpus luteum. So only it is called as a luteinizing hormones. In male, it is responsible for the testosterone hormones. Testosterone hormone. Next one is called as a prolactin. It is called as a PRL. It is lactogenic hormones. It is development of the mammary glands. Mammary glands means producing milk. It is called as a mammary gland. At the time of the pregnancy only, it will be occur. These are all coming under the adenohyphosis. Okay, growth hormone, TSH, ACTH, gonadotrophic hormones, FSH, LH, and prolactin. Just to know that what is the important one, that is enough. Next one is called as a neurohyphosis. Only two types. One is called as a vasopressin, another one is called as oxytocin. The vasopressin you will see in the next video session, that is called as pancreas. Two type of the cells, alpha cells and beta cells. The alpha cells secretes the glucagon hormones and beta cells secretes the insulin. So, what is the difference between the Diaptus mellitus as well as the Diaptus insipidus? Diaptus mellitus and the Diaptus insipidus. Diaptus mellitus means the vasopressin. Diaptus mellitus means excess of glucose secreted in the urine, that is called as diaptus mellitus. Diaptus insipidus means excess of the water secreted, that is called as diaptus insipidus. Okay, diaptus mellitus means excess glucose. Diaptus insipidus means excess water. That is responsible for the vasopressin. And oxytocin means it is a childbirth. It is a childbirth. Childbirth excision of the mammary glands, and it is useful for the contraction of the smooth muscles. So while the muscles are contracted, then only the babies are comes out from the uterus region. Oxytocin is responsible for that. Up to the which hormone? The pituitary gland. Which hormone? The pituitary gland hormones alone will be over. The remaining hormones. What are the remaining hormones? That is called as parathyroid, pancreas, adrenal cortex and the gonads, testes and ovum.